Clemson's number 4.
got
We got to get to this. Clemson's number 4.
They haven't played well yet.
But the disrespect.
They haven't played well yet.
It's a reigning
Disrespect.
Was Alabama ever dropped to number 4 being undefeated after winning a national
Has Alabama
championship?
ever played this bad?
That is relative because of the ACC.
So Alabama would have dropped
there he
because they would have lost.
I'm saying
So
that
Clemson's good enough to play like crap because they're playing crappy teams.
I think
they're
Paul's
still
onto
they're
something.
still undefeated.
I think Paul.
That's why they're dropping.
Well, then, okay, so 2014, first year we had the playoff. Undefeated defending national champion Florida State, who had not played good all year. I'll admit that. They played bad, and they got exposed. But why were they put in a 4th seed, the only undefeated team, defending national champion, and they got put in a 4th seed? I think there's something to the ACC thing. I really do. Because if that were Alabama, that would never happen. Even if Alabama played as bad as Clemson has, then I don't buy that Clemson's been playing bad. Yes, Trevor Lawrence had a couple bad interceptions.
Trevor Lawrence has thrown like 10 interceptions this year already.
He's leading the ACC in interceptions.
But did anybody watch that game? They still won like 38-3.
That's because they have actual talent.
So then why are they number 4?
the whole point
Because
is
when they play Ohio State, they can't make up for 2 interceptions. When they play Bama, they can't make up for 2 interceptions because Bama has the same talent.
That's a good point.
where do you seed them right now? You're in the conference. Where do you seed Clemson? That's my whole point. They're not number 4 because you're not seeding them lower than 2. If you were to seed
Right now,
playoffs,
they're all undefeated.
Okay, so
yeah, they're number 4.
Let me ask this.
they're the national champions.
I want to know.
Who cares?
The returning quarterback, most of the core.
Okay, Paul, let me ask you this, and then I'll ask Brandon the same question. Are you a believer in if you are a national champion and you're undefeated, you're a defending national champion and you're still undefeated, you deserve to stay at number 1 until you lose?
I think that if you are the defending national champion and playing at a competing level, you should be the top-ranked team with the number of losses as you. If you are a one-loss team, you should be the highest-ranked one-loss team. If
So you should be number 2 if you're kind of something like that, yeah, like or 3 or whatever. I get what you're saying.
so,
And you
and
believe,
I would be okay with Alabama ahead of Clemson, but I don't see how LSU is. This is the Joe Burrow hype.
LSU is averaging 60 points a game.
It's so their Heisman hype is putting them at number 2.
Hold on. So
LSU's beaten Texas. LSU's beaten
Texas has
who
a
did they
garbage.
beat? Florida last week.
Texas has the worst defense in the FBS. They're 130th. They're bad.
I agree they're bad, but they're still ranked in the
They've
top
played
15.
good teams,
Who
though.
has Clemson played?
I mean, they're going to look real bad against Oklahoma and LSU. But
I mean, nobody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
okay.
I can't argue that.
So, do you believe that it's a clean slate?
Yeah, because they're not the same team.
So you should.
Last year's Clemson team had their front 4, their front 7 were all NFL players.
Right.
And you're someone,
They're not that same team.
So you're someone that believes that like it doesn't matter what you did last year, it matters what you're doing now.
Yeah.
It's not a legacy thing.
No, it has nothing to do with that.
I
they're not the same team.
I understand that, but I got to go with Paul. They should not be number 4. I'm sorry, and
I don't think objectively you can say, like, not based on performance. I'm saying, like, if you're looking at team ratings, like, if pretend it's a video game, there's no way that they're the 4th highest team ratings.
This is the beauty of this. All these teams are going to, except for Clemson, really, but
Who will walk to the Final Four.
these teams are going to cannibalize each other, and it's going to get sorted out. But the thing that I run into with this, as good as LSU has played, I agree with you. I think they shouldn't be above Clemson because Clemson, I hate to bring in the legacy thing, but they're undefeated. They're a defending national champion, and I think that I agree with you. I have no problem having Alabama above them.
LSU is where future NFL players go to underperform and train.
But I think you're underselling LSU, and I get it. We've seen this before where LSU has played really well throughout the season.
LSU's never been like this.
It's not Les Miles. I know.
I
love Ed Ogeron. He's the man.
This is a new LSU, though, because this team actually has an offense.
Exactly.
So it's
LSU has
different.
never had a quarterback in the last 15 years.
Can I just say real quick? Now,
Yeah, but they had Jarvis Landry and OBJ.
When you don't have a quarterback, it doesn't matter who your receivers are.
I don't know about that.
The New York Giants had OBJ and they couldn't do anything. What is the
That's the
difference?
NFL talent playing against them.
The SEC doesn't have NFL talent as well.
Okay, so this
Yes,
this is
they
fun.
do, but it's at a
So
different.
how is it different?
It's a different developmental level. It's a different competitive level because not all SEC starting corners go to the NFL.
I don't know about that. There's a lot of SEC.
But Eli Manning's an NFL quarterback. LSU's quarterback wasn't an NFL quarterback.
Right.
Okay.
It's apples and oranges.
It is. Okay, so now we all have I'm just trying to move this along because we're going to keep talking in circles. I think that's what's going to happen. So, okay. Now keep in mind we have our snake draft brackets that we were playing against. I want to point out I have the best bracket, by the way.
As of this week, because those
Only
could
because
change.
your teams haven't
every week.
lost.
Yeah.
There's only 2 teams out of the 12 that we have that have no shot of making it to the college.
And this
football
isn't
playoff.
this isn't our
My
real,
Boise
and
State.
that's Boise State.
My long shot
and
is
Texas,
gone.
and Texas.
Hey, I knew it
Yeah.
was a long shot.
Those are the only 2 teams that have no chance.
It's also not really a real bracket because we had to just pick.
It
from
was
what
a
we
draft,
had.
but it was a
Yeah.
draft, but that's what makes it fun. See, I am still banking on Oregon because I got Bama in the back pocket. So I got Oregon.
I don't think Penn State's going to beat Ohio State,
Here's the deal.
so I don't see.
You're
Ohio-
sleeping
Penn
on
State.
you're sleeping on the Ducks. They just went to Washington at number 25 Washington.
I think Washington's
okay.
overrated.
That is their biggest threat of the season, and now they host Mike
Oregon
Leach,
has
and
basically
it coasts. It just coasts.
because of that win, they've basically cemented their spot in the Pac-12 championship game. They have a
Correct.
3-game lead
Oh,
with like
man.
4 games left.
I
Right.
really hope they lose the Civil War. I hope Oregon State just comes out of nowhere and
But-
upsets them. That'd be hilarious.
Listen to this.
just to ruin your day.
Listen to this. You have Bama's undefeated,
Right.
wins the SEC.
Yeah.
Ohio State's undefeated, wins the Big Ten. Oklahoma's undefeated, wins the Big 12. Clemson's undefeated, wins the ACC, and Oregon wins the Pac-12. Going 11-1, they're out.
They're out.
They need help.
I think.
Oh,
that-
absolutely,
I
they
think-
need help. The
I
help
think-
will come.
I think Oregon's out no matter what. Honestly, I think I would take a 1-loss any other Power 5 school. Well, that's not true. I wouldn't take a 1-loss ACC school. If Clemson loses in the ACC, I think they should be eliminated because that conference is garbage.
One loss. Ohio State, Wisconsin, Oregon, and Oklahoma for the bottom 2
I
spots.
would take Ohio State. I'm being honest. If I were the committee, I would take Ohio State because the Pac-12. I mean,
But who's your loss? Because Oregon's loss is Auburn, man. Auburn could beat LSU this weekend. That's a sneaky good game of the week.
say Ohio State loses to Wisconsin or Penn State. That's a quality loss. But if they lose to like Michigan, is that not a quality loss?
Or Illinois.
or Illinois? Yeah. Well, you know what?
Or Boston College.
You got a point. The Illinois loss eliminates Wisconsin from
Yeah.
contention.
I don't think it does because they
Oregon's
still are,
above them if they're the same. Come on.
maybe, but Oregon doesn't have the wins that Wisconsin would have being 1-loss Big Ten champ.
Yeah, they had.
Either.
Oregon had the chance to have a signature win against an SEC
Wisconsin
school.
beat Michigan. Wisconsin would have beat Iowa. Wisconsin
Oregon
would have
blew
beat
it.
a ranked Minnesota team where they would have beat Ohio State twice.
You can't really hold their location against them because of geography. They couldn't really switch conferences.
Yeah, but every time this happens, when Oregon schedules an SEC school, almost every time they lose.
you think Oregon
In
wants
Texas.
the Pac-12 to not be
you know
competitive?
what?
They want UCLA to be balling right now.
What they do is they schedule an LSU or they schedule an
I'm
Auburn.
not saying it's Oregon's fault. I'm saying Wisconsin would have better wins.
Right.
And that's what it comes down to.
You're right.
Yeah, it's not their fault. Their conference.
It's
isn't
not
that
their
good.
fault. Just like it's not Clemson's fault. But if Clemson loses, same thing.
Man, college football season is heating up.
I love how speculative it all is.
And we're about halfway through. We're at that point where it's all speculative, and that's what makes it fun. We have our facts that we presented with the game recaps, and then from there, it was just rampant shotgunning speculation.
Leave Clemson alone is what I will say.